There's a saying that there's nothing new under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure I totally agree with that saying. I feel like there's no new ingredients under the sun, but you can always come up with a new dish. You can always cook something new.
Hey. Big T, big T, big T. Big T, big T, big T. Big T, big T, big T. Big T, big T, big T.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Big Talk podcast, where we talk about the story of Africans, youths, and everything that happens everywhere in the world. Today, we have an amazing special guest, and he goes by Yin the Hermit. Yeah, another day in the stew. We got Yin. You were our second episode, if I remember correctly.
Second?
The second episode. And guess
I
what
thought I was a few in, but I didn't know I was the second.
No, I think this was you were our second. Like,
wow,
after we had
amazing.
Lasky, and then we had you, thankfully, because that was around the time we first met.
Privilege.
Bless up, man. Bless up. You know what 2 signifies?
2.
Yeah.
Well, I see 222 a lot, but I don't exactly know. I know about 3s.
Yeah.
I know about 47. I know about 8, 9.
Yeah.
But educate me.
Well, I don't remember where I saw this from, but 2 signifies togetherness.
Togetherness, yeah. The first step towards togetherness. That actually makes sense.
It does make sense. So, that was around the time we met. We met in Lagos through Klinsman, who is not here today.
Yeah.
Because he's
at the good beach.
Slying.
Klinsman,
you introduced me to Yin.
Yellow card.
You introduced us to Yin, basically, and you're not here chilling with us, but it's cool.
We miss you. Come back.
We miss you. Come true. We went to the good beach that day. It was a very. What? When I reminisce or reflect on meeting you as a person, I have this feeling that you kind of meet your person. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I feel like everyone in this world you meet, there are some people you connect with on the level, there are some people you connect with on the level. Yeah. And I was like, I connect with this guy on the level. And following that.
Yeah. For me, that respect is reciprocal, I would say, because we're both creatives.
Yeah.
And we both think differently. We're open-minded. So when I met you, I was very happy. I was like, I don't believe in coincidence. When I meet people, I believe I meet people for a reason, for a purpose. Yeah. So, look at all this beautiful art in the studio. It's just a vibe, bro. It's just a vibe, man. It's just a vibe.
If you don't know, I make art and they are for sale. So as soon as our website comes up, we'll sell them. Nigerian challenges and everything. But that's not what we're about now. I want to, continue on where we
stopped
about Yin the Hermit. You have a tape coming out soon.
An album. Yeah.
Thanks for the correction.
Full length, actually. My first full length album.
Your first full length album. How many songs are on that?
It's 24.
24.
Yeah.
Music album. You make music. You're an artist.
Yeah.
You're a recording artist.
100%.
The title of the album, please let us know.
It's DMT versus YTH.
So
that's dimethyltryptamine versus Yin the Hermit.
Okay.
Because we all have dimethyltryptamine in our lives in some way. It can be found in plants, in animals.
Yeah.
Some people say it's what makes us dream. So it's a huge part of our world. It's a huge part of the mental process, creative process for me. And so I was just and it's also my nickname.
Yeah. DMT
because
Ego.
my guys call me DMT Ego, Dmitry Ego. It's like an alter ego. And he's actually involved in the album too. Mm-hmm. Because you hear me say DMT Ego on some tracks.
Talk about your DMT experiences, do you?
A little bit, yeah.
Pardon me, you've experienced DMT before, have you?
A few times.
Can you tell us about a DMT trip that you've had? The most politically correct DMT experience.
I believe they all have a role to play. It's how do I put it? When you watch an anime, you watch episode 1, 2, 3, you have some episodes that are more intense than others. Mm-hmm. Some have a fight scene or a very beautiful scene, and that's how a DMT journey kind of is. There've been some very beautiful trips, some very dark ones. Some people say they call them bad trips, but I call it a challenging experience. In life, you have bad days too. Some people have bad months, bad years. And a DMT trip is very short, 20, 30 minutes. So I feel it's something I've been able to handle over time, take care of myself, take care of my body, my mental health. But you asked what are some of the most awesome trips?
Yeah, actually, awesome trip. So, and let me just elaborate a little bit on that question. Yeah. Awesome trip and, being a user.
Not a user.
Or not a user, pardon me. Like being someone who has tried it, like how has it changed you as a person, if it has?
It's made me more open-minded, more creative. It's made me question things more. It's helped me to understand my mind better. Because remind you that on a normal day, my mind is a mind that sees things. It hallucinates.
Yeah.
It hears voices. It processes thoughts in a different manner from, let's say, maybe the average mind.
Yeah.
So I feel like when I go there, I feel like more at home. Because things become more vivid in your vision. I think what a bad trip for some people actually is like information overload, sensory overload, and them not knowing how to process what they're receiving. Is like high voltage coming into a low voltage adapter sometimes. Sometimes you have to open your mind and be ready to experience the good, the bad, and the ugly. The best way I would describe a DMT trip is like a roller coaster. You get on, you fasten your seatbelt, and you have fun, and you scream, and you feel the thrill, and you shout, but you'd never get off the ride, and it will always put you back.
Scream.
Yeah. Not physically scream, but maybe mentally you're like, ooh, you see what I'm saying? And it will bring you and drop you back where you're meant to be. But it takes time, it takes experience, it takes different things, and I've had some good experiences, some bad experiences.
When you say it takes time, it takes experience, means your first DMT trip would not be the one where you would understand what is going on in that realm.
Yeah, you can go there and have a profound experience, but I think it takes time to really, over years and different experiences, thought processes, dreams too, because a huge part of even what I'm talking about on my album is like dreams and visions and, projections and all kinds of things. All these things tie in together. So it's not just trips or it's not just dreams. They all work together, visions. And it just happens that that's how God created my mind. That this guy, I'm just going to make him see and understand things that maybe only he can understand. But I'm trying to portray it to the world and help them understand that, look, man, there's actually not just a world around us. There's actually a whole world in your head, within you as well. As there's a universe that we're exploring outside.
Yeah.
We're going to space. We're going underwater. Trying our best to discover new things, new species.
Going to visit Titanic.
Tragic, RIP to them.
Oh, that's not funny.
But there's a universe inside you and you can explore. You can explore it. I guess that's the explorative spirit that led them to their demise, but I actually kind of think like that. Explore, find out at any cost.
Yeah, I always say this, like, I feel like the micro world is as vast as the macro.
If not vaster.
Which is, that's one of the most insane thoughts to me, is that you can go inwards, or you can zoom in, and then you see micro beings that exist.
They exist. You can talk to them.
Our body is about the same height in ratio compared to the organisms that live on us.
Yeah.
And they have villages. They have...
Like, you've seen that Rick and Morty episode. Have you seen those?
I don't know which one exactly. I was saying a bunch of Rick and Morty episodes.
Rick and Morty is so trippy, man.
It's so trippy, and it's so like, we connect to it. It makes sense.
It actually does.
Sense, but it's so like, to me, that's the closest thing to a DMT trip.
Rick and Morty, I feel they're definitely inspired. For lack of a better sentence, they're definitely inspired by some trippy stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, I heard DMT releases when we die, in the brain.
Yeah,
that's the thing they say.
I heard that too. They call it the spirit molecule for a reason. It's like there's definitely some attachment between the spirit realm and that substance.
So the brain secretes
it
when people die. So people have
at a higher rate than it does maybe when you're dreaming. Or,
exactly. You know, like I have vivid dreams. I have dreams. Sometimes I dream.
Like lucid dreams?
I've had lucid dreams once or twice.
Where you feel like you can control it, or maybe you're not aware you're dreaming, or
when I'm in the dream and I'm like, I'm actually dreaming, and the dream is not off, it's still going on.
It still goes, So like a video game.
It's almost like a video game. Just like, sometimes it's nasty, like it's dirty, like because I'm kind of a perv. But
I can relate. I can definitely relate.
I was in a train.
Yeah.
I was in a train, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a hot lady in front of the train, and I was like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in this world now. This lady is hot.
Yeah.
I can just go and have a wet dream. But I knew that would be a wet dream if I go ahead and do that. So I stopped myself from it because I knew that I would wet myself in real life.
Yeah.
So,
but sometimes what happens in the dream, in the dream doesn't always happen. Like sometimes, how do I put it? Like,
it could seem as if
it could seem as if it will happen, but maybe you might not. You know, I think when you wet yourself is majorly when you're younger.
Yeah.
You know, as you develop yourself as a dreamer and everything, you can kind of control and separate.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that stops me when I'm lucid dreaming is maybe I need to actually use the bathroom. I can feel it physically, and that stops. But aside from that, my phone ringing, people knocking on the door, it's like I'm so aware of what's going on that I can decide to, keep going or stop. Yeah. Like a voice will actually tell me, like, ignore that call, or, it's important. And that's just intuition. I don't know if it makes sense, but yeah.
Yeah, it does. I feel like lucid dreaming is a very interesting thing. Like dreaming in general, there was this thing Joey Badass was saying about how the government keeps away information from how we can tap into our dreams, because people have this whole like...
You want me to bust your brain?
Let's go.
That's actually on the first track of my album. Joey Badass talking about that. Yeah, I sampled that because I have a lot of respect for that guy and his intellect. And actually, RIP to Capital Steez as well. He had like a big influence on my thinking. The number 47, balance, and just being a tripper and understanding. Well, my understanding of the theory talks about balance, 4 and 7. I don't know how he did it or how he discovered that, but every day, ask Irigo is right there.
Yo.
And we see the number 47, or I see the number 47, and I'll show it to him. Like, it's 7:47. We woke up early this morning. We're just chilling, and I looked at my phone. It was 6:47. So I don't know. It's just the theory, the principles that he kind of spoke about that just resonated with me and kind of translated a little bit into my intellect.
Okay, that was interesting. Something to study about or to learn about.
Just Google Capital Steez 47 and you'll see a few things.
In correlation 36 too, I heard it's like it's like 360, it's like a full circle.
Full 36, circle in a way. Yeah. I think maybe that's why it's so associated with the end of time.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, 360s. Yeah. So 47 is just 1 above 3 and 1 above 6.
That's actually deep.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I look at numbers, I like subtract, add, divide, and I see other angel numbers appear from within a number. It's actually really crazy.
Yeah, there's this whole number world of people like who are really into numerology and astrology or all these things.
Yeah, I'm not really into astrology though. I don't know how I feel about astrology, but I think numerology is really cool. Yeah,
with binaries and all
it's more solid.
0, 1,
and if you zoom into anything, I think even like in computer, everything is ones and O's at the end of the day.
I never really got that. I never really got how everything is ones and O's.
Okay, so like your computer, your code,
zeros. Yeah,
your code is like 1 0, and then when the pattern changes from maybe 111 or 000, that's a code. It recognizes that and it kind of translates it into other things that
like an image,
come up.
An application.
It's like pixels.
Yeah.
You see, like on a TV screen or something like that. millions, billions of tiny pixels paint a whole picture.
Yeah.
You're a painter, you should understand that you can put a dot here, a dot here, a dot here, and put them in different colors or in different numbers, and they'll form a pattern. Yeah. So it comes, mosaic kind of like
pointillism.
So that's the beauty of how God has made everything, and figuring it out is just the most beautiful thing. For me, like trying to figure out.
When you say figuring it out or understanding, is it the same thing?
Understanding is a very delicate thing for me, because I used to think I understood everything. You see what I'm saying? Like, based from my former religious perspective, I used to think, I know how everything came about. I know how everything is going to turn out, and I just need to take action a certain way, and this is how it's going to turn out. But God has a sense of humor, man. And he was like, bro, you need to chill. You have a lot to learn. So it's not like, I won't say we cannot understand. We can understand certain things. But even if you do understand something fully, it doesn't mean that it cannot change. Because reality rotates. It's like a tesseract. You cannot predict what energy is going to come out, or you're not going to be able to predict what voltage or what frequency is going to come out. So you have to be open enough to adapt your understanding to new information, new scenarios, new happenings. As they say, man plans, or how do they say it? Something. Man proposes, God disposes. And that's a philosophy I live by, because God is predictable sometimes he's unpredictable. It's most likely that the sun is going to come up tomorrow, but who knows who we're going to lose amongst us tomorrow. We don't know. So you have to cherish every moment, cherish everybody every time. And that's where understanding comes in. Being able to adapt your emotions and your thought process. Sorry, you were saying something.
No, sorry. That was me being rude, interrupting you. But when you say,
you're not rude. It's just a vibe. It's just a conversation.
You saying, who knows if the sun going to come up, or who knows if it's not going to come up. What if the sun had exploded like 8 years ago, and it's just tomorrow that will be the day that? Because I heard that it's 8 years or 8 hours if the sun explodes for us to get because the information. Light.
That's actually crazy, man. That's actually crazy. Though life is unpredictable, very unpredictable. So I think understanding should be very adaptable. As much understanding as you have, you should be as adaptable as you are understanding.
Okay, so let's go into your EP. So what did I said tape, now I'm saying
album.
EP. The album.
Yeah, my first album.
So it's how many tracks?
24.
Wow. Your first album, 24 tracks.
Yeah, I started with 9.
Yeah.
Shout out to Blue Flame, because I just had all my unreleased. I was looking at it, and he was like, bro, you need to drop your album. And I was like, okay. And he was like, we're going to do 9 tracks and everything. And we started mixing and mastering, and it just evolved into a whole picture that I needed to portray.
Yeah.
And I felt like if I remove even one of those songs, my heart will not be at rest, because I need to paint the full picture. Imagine going to go and look at the Mona Lisa or some Michelangelo at the Louvre, and there's just a part of it chopped off. It's going to feel incomplete. So I feel an artist shouldn't just look at the market or look at the industry and say, is this going to be easily digestible? No, paint your picture. God gave you a picture to paint. Paint your picture and give it to people, and let them decide what part of it they want to look at, how they want to look at it, how they want to move that Rubik's Cube around and feel your music, and finally complete the puzzle in their head and have a picture.
Interesting.
Because my blue could be your green. Your green could be my blue. We don't know what anyone is seeing. So just make your art and put it there, and let everybody look at it from a different angle. Yes.
That's very enlightening and interesting. And I would definitely listen to the album.
Please do.
Yeah.
Everybody listen to the album.
Please listen to the album.
Please.
Yeah. It's sounding really, really exciting. The title. Let's go back to the title a bit. It's DMT versus
YTH, in the Hermit.
Because I know you as a nickname as DMT Eagle.
Yeah.
And
Dmitry, in the Hermit.
I was thinking it was a thing of like
a character clash.
Exactly.
It is.
Yeah. Okay.
But once again, it's all about perspective and how you want to look at it, because it just happened to tie in that way. There is a character clash on it. There's certain parts where I feel like Yin the Hermit is rapping. I feel like there's certain parts where Dmitry Eagle is rapping. And I actually honestly was going to try and make it a character clash album or a clash of the egos. But it became so intertwined that I couldn't separate. You see, I couldn't separate the concept. So I'm actually putting it out there, like people who know where Dmitry is coming from and YTH is coming from will eventually be able to tap into that and decipher the different parts, the different things. And just a little clue, if you hear me say Dmitry before a song, it's most likely Dmitry rapping. You know, that kind of thing.
Like, so this character clash, is there a unity in it?
There's a huge unity. Actually, look at my tattoo. It says YTH. I actually want to get the DMT here because those are like my two most prominent alter egos. Sometimes I'm sitting here, you know me, my real name is Aura.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting here and Aura is just chilling, and I'll just hear Dmitry and Yin in my head, like, yo, what's up with this guy? What's this guy doing? Look at him. Let's give him something to think about. Let's vibe with him. You see, so there are two different voices in my head that have their own different personality, their own different traits. If you check back into my discography, I have a song called Hermit Medley, and that's like pure Yin the Hermit rap, where he's just talking about his perspective. And then I have a song called Schizophrenia Part 2, where it happens that Dmitry Eagle was very angry and he was just ranting. So Dmitry is more like a brute, you know, like action, more tripper. And Yin the Hermit is just that cool, you know, astral vibe that likes to spend time alone, spend time in his head.
The name Dmitry, where did that come from? I think that's a Russian name.
Yeah.
So how did that attachment come?
I can't give you that
info.
I can't give you that info.
Big talk, you know,
we're
right?
on the big talk.
That's why I used to try and get stuff out of people.
let me think.
Is there a PC way to, like, can you give us a hint where Dmitry came from?
Dmitry, let's just say it's a street name.
It's a street name, right?
Yeah, those people who are on the street in certain ways. I'm not saying I'm a street guy. I'm just a normal guy who happens to be on the street sometimes. Yeah. We all interact. You get what I'm saying? The streets is all around us. So, but yeah.
It has to do with streets. There's something
street about it. Yeah.
So interesting.
Especially like European street.
Yeah.
Not really the African side. Because I used to live in Europe. So.
Okay. So you are a designer, you're an artist, in various fields.
Yeah.
Just earlier on, you know, the train of thought that led to this was you're talking about how you have two voices in your head and how you're going to get the DMT tattoo. And I feel like
on the other side.
Yeah, the train of thought was that's the yang to yin being the yin.
Yeah.
So
everything balances out. You see what I'm saying? Like and there's left, there's right, north, south. It's just how it works.
100%. And that reminded me of 1, 2. Second episode. that reminded me of the shoe you're making. There's a yin and yang symbol on back.
Yeah, there's a yin and yang. I felt that's balance for my feet because if you look at the winter solstice, if you put two metal poles in the ground, I believe, or something, the magnetic pole actually forms the yin and yang sign naturally. Like God put it there in the magnetic field. So the yin and yang sign isn't just a design from someone's mind. It's actually out there in nature according to my humble knowledge. So it's significant. That's why I put it on the heel of the shoe, on the sole of the shoe.
The shoe that you're designing on the screen for people to see?
Of course. I'll send you the PDF.
No, so you're going to see it on the screen right now. It looks really amazing. Like you have some colors. You have the red one. You have black. You have one.
And the mixed one.
Very interesting design.
Thank you.
How did that come about? What made you think I want to design a shoe?
I was actually in fashion school, British Academy of Fashion Design.
Okay.
In London, and I was just like working on clothes a lot, like jackets and clothes because they were more focused on fabric and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I love sneakers. Like since high school, I always had like the coolest sneakers, you know, and stuff like that. So I was like, man, it's only right that I at least design something I have in my mind. And I was just thinking, I kept thinking about levels. If you look at the soul, you see there's
levels.
There's levels.
There's a Ferrari that looks like
a red Ferrari.
Yeah, the red Ferrari.
Guy, you did cool.
I forgot to know that Ferrari, but it's somewhere there.
Yeah. It's like the one Leonardo had in, what's the name of that movie? Where he came out of the Ferrari and he was like, I don't know if it's my imagination, but anyway. Yeah. But yeah, I was thinking about levels and I was just like, how can I draw this in a way that I want the shoe to have a platform and show nearly like a pyramid-like ascension to the foot, because it's just what came to mind at that point in time. I remember I was sitting down on the table, I drew it, I illustrated it, and it picked up from there. If you look at the tongue, it has the YTH logo.
Yeah, the tongue is very interesting to me. It comes off in a way.
Yeah. And at the back on the heel, there's some Japanese writing that says Shadow of the Hermit. You know, but I don't want to get into like Asian mysticism and explaining everything. But by God's grace, when I release the shoes, it will come with a card in Japanese and in English that explains the concept of the shoe and all the vibes and inspiration that went into creating that shoe. So
interesting. We'll be looking forward to seeing the shoe.
And I have a message to somebody. I actually sent that shoe out to get made.
Yeah, that's the camera.
I sent that shoe out to get made and they ran off with the bar. So if you're seeing this, come back with my bar, please. We need to make that shoe. So yes.
Please do that.
Yes.
Humbly asking you to come back with the bar.
Please.
Let's get it done. Yeah, I want to say my feedback on your music, I really find you like a lyricist. Your way with words, you can feel the emotion in when you're speaking things, you can visualize it. You're like, my life changed one day I saw a gin, you know?
Yeah.
Those things, and I feel like you say things that are very, for me, I think they are poetic, they are real.
Thank you.
You know, and it's amazing to me, like people who rap, I admire people who rap, and I think you're really good at rapping.
Thank you.
I want to ask, what is the process? How do you come up with what you come up with in the studio?
So lyrics are the first point. Like you said, lyricism. I grew up listening to people like, the first rapper I was really into was like 50 Cent, because at that point he was huge, he was massive. Before that I had only heard like what they play on like Channel O or MTV and all that stuff. But then after 50 Cent, I would take his CDs, put it in like the CD pack and tape it to my exercise book. And then I would write his lyrics. And then I started like seeing patterns in what he's saying. That like, this guy is actually not just talking or making music that sounds good. He's actually saying something. So when I started writing down people's lyrics, 50 Cent, Tupac, you know, Lupe Fiasco, I started seeing patterns of things that helped me to understand the artist's minds better. And that's Lupe Fiasco, Food and Liquor, was actually the first original copy of an album I had. My mom got that for me at Land of Plenty in Lagos, and thank you, Mom. And I took it home and I listened to it so much that I just felt like I love music. At that point, I wasn't even thinking of being a lyricist or anything like that, but I became absorbed in music and the patterns and the pictures that it painted in my head. So when I started making music, it came to me naturally to be a lyricist and to express my own patterns and take little elements from certain artists. If you listen to my music, if you're a real hip-hop head, a hip-hop purist, you're going to hear some patterns. You're going to hear me paying homage to like the OGs or the young OGs that I listen to, and just, that's lyricism and pattern, and then you have to feel it. I was telling somebody I was in the studio with that it's nearly like Dragon Ball Z. You start fighting as a child, you're small. You saw when Goku was tiny, then you started having small muscles. Your flow will improve, your cadence will improve. I'm still not Super Saiyan. I don't feel I'm at my Super Saiyan level, but I've improved as a musician. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And that level keeps going up. The more you work at it, the more you work at it. Muscle, until the day my lungs give up or my lips stop or I can't rap, I'm going to keep rapping. I'm going to keep rhyming. I'm going to keep writing lyrics because it's more than just a business for me or trying to make bar or, you know, just having fun. It's spiritual to me. It's like therapy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's important.
It's very important. Yeah. Have something you like and do it. Find something creative you like you paint.
Yeah.
Always, by the way, always one of the most talented people you will meet in your life.
Gracias. I appreciate
everything.
That.
He does so much. Just check out his page and stuff. His personal page.
Website is coming soon.
Website's coming soon.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Don't let your head swell too much.
I'm not.
But you see how you feel when you're painting, when you're recording, when you're skating.
That's what I'm saying is important because
it's so important.
Without how I can relate to it is without doing that for a certain amount of time, you feel it, and that's why it's complex a little bit being into various forms of art. Yeah. Because you fall in love with them, you fall in love with painting, you fall in love with editing videos. I make music as well. I fall in love with making music and. You know, all these things, and when you don't see them for a while, you miss them. When you don't exercise, when you don't work
the muscle,
you miss them. And then becoming an adult, growing up from Nigeria, these are not the most paid attention to. Like, they're the side of things.
I have a theory about that, actually.
I'm going to learn shortly.
Okay,
so you have to monetize these things.
Definitely.
And then you look at, I see people who are making money in various fields that I am well grounded in. Yeah. And then that builds, you know, for lack of a better way to put it, frustration. And be like, damn, I should work more, I should do more art. I should do more music. I should do more graphic design. You know what I mean? So that's...
My main motivation behind monetizing my art and everything is so that I can actually make better art. Because money enables you to put out your imagination.
Yeah.
I feel like if I had like the infrastructure of a Disney or a Pixar or, you know, Studio Ghibli or something like that behind me, I'd be able to express my imagination. I'd be able to call somebody at 3 a.m. Oh, I just had this hallucination, or I just had this vision, or I saw this in a dream. Let's bring this to life. I feel that's what people like we're talking about earlier, like Rick and Morty, Family Guy,
Steve Jobs.
Naruto, Steve Jobs. They have that infrastructure where they can quickly enable something and create it, and that's what money does. So that's my main motivation behind monetization of art and all this and all that. So it's very cool. It's very cool.
Yeah, it is. To be honest, I agree with you. I feel if I would speak for myself, like what money I feel like would do for my art is definitely going to make. For example, I feel like if I had, you know, the cheese, I'll make more art, get more art supply, make more art. I will definitely be more active there because I will be able to effectively delegate some other work that I'm doing, you know, paying for it and all these other things.
I wouldn't even say help or a support system. I say like working with other creatives is like a family. It's like your people. You see what I'm saying? And just seeing people come together. And that's actually why I really love the Abuja community. Yeah. Like it's so many creative people just trying to elevate each other most of the time. It's not always the case, but most of the time there's people that just want to create with you and vibe with you and see your thought process. And you know, same thing in Lagos too, but with the traffic and everything, it's not as easy moving about and linking people. But just the whole creative scene in Nigeria is really beautiful for me right now. And the theory I was going to give you about is that we're a younger country. America, how many years? 200, 300 years. England, even more. Where else are the creatives really coming from? It's mostly from the Western world. You see what I'm saying? And they've had more time to sit down, to process, to think, and pass down ideas to people that people can really work on, step on, and develop and say, okay, this is a creative platform for me to build this idea. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we're a young country and we're just building our identity. So I feel like people like me and you are the people who are going to pass down the ideas that will be so brilliant and so vivid for the younger generations to come up and take on. You see what I'm saying? I don't know how to fully display my theory, but
I agree with you. One of the reasons why I agree, like you speaking about someone like me and you, is, for example, like you said earlier about your mind and how vast it is and how you think differently from, an everyday person is. I feel like an advantage there is that you bring the new, you bring something fresh. Yeah. You know how the same way, because you're tapped in. If I for the best way I can put it.
I appreciate that, man.
Cheers, man.
It's very important. Cheers. Those two words, tapped in or tap in. Yeah. You guys need to tap in, man.
Yeah. So you're aware and everything. So when an idea fresh comes to you, you can feel that yes, this doesn't exist in the world. I'll bring it to the world.
There is saying that there's nothing new under the sun, but I'm not sure I totally agree with that saying. I feel like there's no new ingredients under the sun, but you can always come up with a new dish. You can always cook something new. Like I just saw somebody putting plantain on pizza. I wouldn't eat that, but I'm like, that's a new dish.
I saw jollof rice on pizza.
Jollof rice on pizza.
I don't know if I was tripping. It was on TikTok. I saw something like that. But no, plantain and jollof, as in, that is just, that's next.
Like I went to Burger King in Lagos the other day and they were serving yam fries instead of potato fries with the burger. Anyway, what I'm trying to say, let's not get lost in food. We too like food, but yeah, like you can always come up with something new. You can always mix new colors, new palettes. That's why when you go to school, they teach you the basic colors, but there's no time for them to teach you about beige or turquoise or all those weird new colors. I'm trying to be bougie and think of a bougie color, but it's not coming. I
don't even know if lavender is a color, but there's something
lavender is a color.
Yeah, beige. I mix colors a lot, and I'm interested in color, and I just know the color I'm going for. Like
there's always something new to combine. Yeah,
all these like pastel colors. I really like pastel colors.
Pastel.
Those are like they always have this whole like almost faded but still in tone.
Yeah, and I actually used to paint a little bit too. Like I did every art class in high school. Maybe apart from the advanced placement one. Because when you take advanced placement art, that means you're most likely going to study art in college. And I took a business route. But apart from that, I did painting, drawing, sculpting, printmaking, all that stuff. And it's creativity, as you can tell. I'm just in love with creativity, man. Creativity is everything. I create because I was created. So, yeah.
God made us in His image and likeness, and He's a creator, so we are creatives.
It's beautiful.
I like the idea that there's nothing new under the sun. I agree. What He says was like perfect. I'm always in search for that as well. I'm always in search for, something new and fresh. Like sound-wise. I feel like, for example, trap exists, music exists, trap sound exists. But this guy, Yeet, when he dropped that,
he came with a new flow.
And so there are some beats
you have to appreciate it.
Like even if it's like it has existed, but you haven't heard it like this,
in this form. Yeah,
exactly. Like another person that like I fuck with his sound, and I think he does something fresh always as a Nigerian artist is Udonsi the Engine. I feel like most times when I hear his stuff, it's not like everything I'm hearing.
I look at that guy like nearly like Kakashi. I look at him like Kakashi because he has so many styles. He can do anything. I think he could probably just make a trap beat. He can make drum and bass. He can make, and I think that's the beauty of creativity. Yeah, just do anything.
100%. Shout out Udonsi, he's a friend of mine. Shout out Udonsi, man. You guys used to be neighbors. I think he doesn't stay there anymore.
I met. I think his little brother once or twice in the area, but I never got to meet him though.
Yeah, no, he's chill. It would be amazing for, synergies to work out. These are your shoes. I want to bring them. Oh, these shoes are actually, they are fire. They keep catching my attention. This is the LV collab with Human Made and Fire, and that's so wavy. Like,
R.I.P. Virgil.
Yeah, R.I.P. Virgil. You collect a lot of art and and crafts.
Just collectible stuff. Yeah.
Where did that interest of collecting
stuff started?
I'm sorry. Before you answer that, also, what is one of your most valuable things you've collected?
The valuable things, probably these cakes.
One of them?
Yeah, one of them. At the point, I had Thierry Henry's autograph.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where did he go?
Sorry, parents. Okay. But my parents made me get rid of it.
Oh, did you over?
Yeah, I was overhyping my football collectibles at that point, so they kind of just shifted them out of the way.
Yeah.
But it taught me a lesson. It made me know that, like, no matter how many collectibles you have or what you're collecting, always know the real value is the mind and what it means to you mentally, not the actual collectible itself. So yeah, it started with like wrestling. I used to watch a lot of wrestling, and I'll beg my mom, please, can I get Stone Cold? Can I get Undertaker or Triple H? And toys, action figures.
Yeah.
So it started with that. Then magazines. When I started reading football, playing football, I would like collect Match magazine. 442 magazine, even the Nigerian magazine, Super Strikers, stuff like that. So it's just something to keep you playful, keep you like a child.
Yeah.
I think growing up in a way is a little bit of a deception. Like they say adulthood is a scam. I don't believe it's fully a scam, but there's certain parts about it that can scam you out of your inner child. Use these collectibles, these aesthetics, these things around you to keep your youth alive, refresh your mind. Like I have a Thanos. When I look at Thanos, sometimes I feel like, I snap my finger. Yeah, you see, and stuff like that. I have Kakashi in my studio. I have Naruto in my studio, and it just reminds me of the things that help me develop my mind and my understanding. Anime is important to me. I also have a poster of the Yellow Submarine.
Oh, sorry. Why is anime important to you?
Anime is so important, man.
Elaborate on it briefly.
If I start, I won't stop. But let me make it brief. Make it brief. I feel like the creators and the minds behind anime are some of the most brilliant people in the world because they understand how to take spiritual principles, life lessons, all kinds of emotions and perspectives, and put it in an art form that anybody of any age can watch. A child can watch Naruto. A 96-year-old man can watch Naruto and still enjoy it. It's not age restricted.
Yeah.
Anime is so beautiful, and there's so many different types of animes, and a lot of spiritual principles I understand because I think in symbols, like the yin-yang symbol, all this stuff.
Yeah.
My understanding of Eastern mysticism and religion also is deeply rooted in my love for anime. It's giving me a lot of knowledge, so that's why I said anime is important.
That's fresh.
Yeah.
You were going on about something, the anime stuff
I was saying, I have Naruto and Kakashi in my studio, and it just reminds me, collectibles. It just reminds me a little bit about the things that I enjoy, I like, and things that help me develop my aesthetic.
Now, I've been to your studio once or twice or three times, and fun times. First time I played a PS5, if I recall, was at your studio, and you have a lot of these bobbleheads. Are they bobbleheads?
Yeah, I have like Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
I have Keanu Reeves. I have Goku. I had Lil Wayne. I gave that to Cowleg. Shout out to Cowleg.
Shout out Cowleg. Very interesting guy.
Cowleg is Cowleg.
You should have him on the podcast. So.
You bring Cowleg.
Like that day is coming.
It will come. And a few nice bobbleheads like that. Just like, but the most special bobblehead I have is Keanu Reeves from The Matrix. When I see that, because as many movies as I've watched in my life, I've watched a ton of movies. Nothing has impacted me like The Matrix.
Matrix is very interesting.
What? So I heard somebody say it's not a movie, it's a documentary. And I kind of feel that vibe too because, man,
there's so many moments that are very like real. From the time we watched them, like there are so many red and blue pill moments that I've come across in this life.
Yeah.
For example,
what would you take, the red or the blue?
Red pill all the way.
Thank you, boss.
Red pill all the way.
Thank you.
See, that was going somewhere. Just give me 2 seconds. I'll be there.
No wahala.
Yeah, the collectibles or collective that you have. Another thing I wanted to mention is they actually add value with time as well.
Yeah.
So, for example, your Thanos that is in the container.
Yeah, it's actually. What did they write on it? I forgot. But it's like a collector's edition. So it's like a little investment. You put it down. If I keep that like 10, 20 years, same thing with some of my comics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It will come back.
It will come back. The same with Pokemon cards sold for millions of dollars.
For millions of dollars, man.
Can you imagine? It's
crazy.
It's like real estate.
It's like, a form of real estate.
In a sense.
Even though some of my precious ones, my nephews, I have these little nephews, and they just come, they look at it like a toy.
It's a toy.
And I'm like, at the end of the day, it is a toy.
Yeah.
Let him have it. Let him play. He'll remember uncle.
That's fresh. So, yeah. I started getting toys for my nephews as well.
Yeah, it's very important for their own memories.
Yeah. That's it. I was going to mention, I thought this point would be important to make. I mean, from earlier when you started speaking on how your mind is different from everyone's mind is. For example, people who have not seen the first episode, to understand that you've been diagnosed with schizophrenia earlier on in your life.
Low key, my diagnosis is actually schizoaffective.
What is that? Schizoaffective.
Schizoaffective disorder. I'm using this for educational purposes.
Okay.
Just purely educational purposes and to raise awareness for people with my condition.
Okay.
It's a spectrum where you have symptoms of schizophrenia. You hallucinate, you hear voices, you have delusions and illusions of grandeur. And then for me personally, it's just a little bit of bipolar. Okay. Where your mood swings and everything. Yeah. But I pray a lot. Yeah. I meditate. I talk to God. When I feel anxious or my mood is swinging, maybe that's why I'm in the Hermit. I spend most of my time alone. So, a lot of people who have met me will say, if you didn't tell me you lived with this condition, I wouldn't know.
Same here.
So, it's just to raise awareness. But you were asking something.
No, that was I wanted to make that be known because
to tie things together.
Yeah, just exactly, because if you're listening to this episode and you did not watch the first episode we had with you might be like, okay, what makes your mind different from other people's minds? So I just wanted that.
I think it's like maybe 1, 2, 3% of the world who live with this condition mentally, at least like at a high level.
Yeah, you said yours is schizoactive, right? So it's not like a
schizoaffective,
right? So it's not like I don't know, deep level of schizophrenia.
It actually is.
Okay,
it is. I lean more towards the schizophrenia side than the bipolar side.
Okay,
for some people they lean more bipolar, then they hallucinate a little. But I hallucinate a lot. I see voices. I sometimes actually see voices, hear
voices,
not hear a color. You can hear waves. A color. I'm dead serious.
In waves. How do you see voices? Like
this is a realm of your mind that you cannot explain. You just experience things. Like you can feel something crawling on your skin, you cannot see it, or something is talking to you, or somebody says, like now, for example, hate. And you hear hate in 5 different versions.
Okay, like dBs.
Not dBs or not decibels, in meaning. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, a word will stretch out.
Okay.
And have like different meanings. Like, somebody said it in one way, but you're perceiving the meaning of what they said in a different way. Exactly. And then you have to kind of rein yourself in and say, okay, they meant this.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Well,
but it's very tricky to explain the mind of a schizophrenic.
Yeah, but it's hard to verbalize.
That's part of my campaign to raise awareness for people like that.
Yeah.
Because even in our country, Nigeria, there's a lot of people with undiagnosed mental health issues. Luckily for me, I got the help I needed, but I know people, I've lost people, forgive me, but I've lost people to mental health. So it's just to raise awareness and know that with the right care, with the right approach, with the right treatment, and with the right understanding of people with mental health problems, you can actually be okay and be cool and achieve things in life. And
a lot of people deal with that, and the awareness is very important, I believe, and vital. So I believe that is going to transform to a movement, to something.
So that's the hope. Raise awareness. And one of my goals, one of my big goals that I share with somebody in my life is to actually have like a place where people can come, get the right diagnosis, chill, relax, have what do they call it? Holistic medicine. Receive therapy, talk to people, because I don't know how I feel about therapy as a whole. But I know that everyone needs therapy once in a while. Maybe not constant therapy. Some people need more intensive therapy than others. But everybody needs therapy at some point. So I would love to have a place where people can come to and have a safe refuge for their mind, for their heart, and for their intellect.
Amazing. On that note, we'll wrap it up.
We'll wrap it up, man.
It's been a lovely conversation.
It's been a lovely conversation, my G.
Bless up, man.
Thank you so much. I
thanks
appreciate
for coming on the podcast for the sequel. Chavala and Klinsman are not here, but love to them.
Love to you guys, man. Thanks for having me last time. It's come full circle. We're here again.
We still keep striving and succeeding.
We have to. Please don't forget to check out the album DMT versus YTH, July 27th. Follow me on Instagram, Yin the Hermit, Twitter, Yin the Hermit, and thanks for having me, Owie. Sorry for cutting you off.
On TikTok as well.
And TikTok, Yin the Hermit too.
Yin the Hermit. I really liked your tweet where you said God told you you're going to lend to nations. I really believe in that.
That's my prayer. It was my dad that told me that.
Okay, it was your dad who told you that.
He was like, my son, one day you will lend to nations. And I believe that one day, as a people, as a whole, as individuals, we can just be the best we can be. So
Amen.
If
you're not subscribed to the podcast, please do that right now.
Big talk.
We've hit 1,000 subscribers. I keep saying thanks for 1,000 subscribers. Let's take it up, all the way up.
5,000 loading.
5,000 loading, all the way up. Everything about Yin the Hermit will be in the description. The link to the album and his social media. So please do that as well. It's Big Talk, the biggest podcast. Peace, we outside.
Big talk.
Yes, sir.
Your mics.
I think.
Yeah.
Both mics, huh?
Yeah.
Yup. You can see the waves. The waves.
I don't know.
Wow, so NEPA interrupted.
Yeah. Interesting.
We sorted that out like
interesting situation we find ourselves in this country.
Yeah.
Imagine they gave us light. We'll go back, but imagine they gave us light. We'll build this country. Just a side thought. But anyway.